So this coming Sunday, Indivisible Greater Kalamazoo, along with Paw Paw Indivisible, also with Berry County Indivisible and Saugatuck Indivisible, are all kind of coming together to host Democracy Fest 2025 in Bronson Park. That's Sunday, September 7th. The event is from 2 to 4 in Bronson Park. Now, we fully expect that people are going to start showing up early, which is fine. We're going to be prepared for people from like 1 to 5, basically. But the event itself is from 2 to 4. Democracy Fest 2025 is really about connecting people to their power. We are very hopeful that we will get a pretty large crowd of people in Bronson Park that will really take notice that the powers that are in the world, Representative Huizenga, the Republican Party, and even the Democratic Party, will take notice of the people who are coming together to kind of voice their opposition to what's going on at the federal level. We want to make a difference. We want to come together and make a difference. It's going to be really kind of fun. So we're going to have, so as people arrive at the park, there will be, we'll have a live band playing. The Birdseed Salesman will be playing before 2 o'clock. And then we'll have music after that. But we're going to have a series of speakers who will be talking to various topics on what's happening at the federal level and really how what's happening at the federal level is impacting us here locally and in the state of Michigan. We will have Susan Rosas from the YWCA speaking. The YW has been a leader in talking about the impacts to our local nonprofit community on the impacts. We're going to have the Michigan League of Conservation Voters. We're going to have Voters Not Politicians speaking about the effects of money in politics. We're going to have a local doctor speaking on the impacts of Medicaid, the cuts to the Medicaid and to our health care programs and what that's meaning here locally, not just, in theory about what's happening, but really what people are feeling and what people are fearing. We're going to have Bonnie Jo Campbell speaking, a local author, talking about the importance of kind of holding the Progressive Coalition together as we move through this next election cycle. And we're going to have Daniel Oropeza, and I'm hopefully not massacring that last name. He is with the United Farm Workers Foundation, talking about the impacts of the administration on the farming community here. And we're going to have Judy Sarkozy, who, for anybody who's been in this community for a long time, recognizes Judy as a long-time advocate for the betterment of our community. So there's going to be a series of people talking. No one's talking for very long. The program really should kind of move right along. But we're really going to try to demonstrate what's happening here at the local level from the impacts of what's happening at the federal level. I think what we're seeing is that people really are plugged in more than they have ever been before at this point in an election cycle. For instance, when we've held our rallies on West Ninch Avenue, and we've held our rallies on Drake's Road, we have gotten 2,000 to 8,000 people showing up on a Saturday, right? That's kind of unheard of for this point in an election cycle to get that type of participation from people. So people are really, truly feeling, I think that they have fear. I think they have concern. I think they are motivated. I think that they're angry. So there's a lot of emotions working on people right now. So on so many levels, I think people are plugged in. And I think that's part of what we're trying to do with Indivisible Greater Kalamazoo is recognize that people have that fear and that anger and trying to give it a place to go. Indivisible started with 12 people in the living room in January. Our database now is knocking on 4,000 people. So it's considerable, the amount of people who are plugged in and kind of paying attention. And that's not even everybody, obviously, who's showing up to the events, because we get more people than that showing up to the events. Now, it is true that even more people need to get plugged in and understanding. Indivisible is nonpartisan. We are admittedly a pretty progressive organization, but we're nonpartisan. And what we're trying to help people understand, because we have a lot of Republicans who are part of our group, because this isn't what they voted for. The stripping of the National Health Institute, the stripping of the environmental stuff, the knocking down of our institutions, the attack on our justice system, all of this stuff isn't what a lot of these folks voted for. I mean, they thought they were voting for cheaper eggs and maybe immigration issues. But really, this type of immigration solution is what they really envisioned. Panel trucks pulling up with masked men, unidentified masked men, putting people into panel trucks and whisking them away to El Salvador. I don't think that's really what people understood that they were voting for. So, so there was a lot of interest, a lot of grassroots interest in kind of standing up to that, even if you voted for that initially. So we're hopeful to give people a place to feel safe, that they can come and kind of be a part of a group that recognizes that's not what we want this country to be.